Welcome to another conversation off the clock. Hi, I'm Carmina Constantino Torres, and this is Casey After Hours.
The moment I said yes, nilalagyan ko na ng cross ang pangalan ko. Very powerful yung word. That's why it should not be abused. You cannot be an effective proclaimer of the word if you're full of yourself. For me, that's one of the most scandalous things about church leaders. Hindi pwede na ganun na lang yon. So, you hold people accountable. Not only immoral, but illegal and anti-poor. Bakit ako pakikinggan kung ako mismo hindi ako marunong makinig? Alam mo, napaka-optimistic ko about humanity, Carmina. No? Kahit alam ko na maraming taong kasuklam-suklam. No?
So, galing to sa Senado o sa Kongreso?
Well, either. Both.
May lumapit na po sa
meron
inyo?
Meron na.
Ano pong sinabi nila? He was only a young boy when he found comfort in talking to God. And in those quiet conversations, he found his calling. Kalaunan, pumasok sa seminaryo, bitbit ang pagnanais na paglingkuran ang Diyos at ang bayan. Because for him, serving God and helping to bring about social change should go hand in hand. Lalo na't pareho lang namang nakaugat ang dalawa sa malasakit, paglilingkod at pag-ibig. There was clarity in his purpose, that it was never meant to be lived in silence, but in the service of the poor, the marginalized, by empowering them so that they too can, as he does, stand up against the powerful. So as he keeps on keeping at it, he continues to remind us that compassion is courage and that faith, when lived fully, is an act of defiance against fear. Joining us today, Cardinal Pablo Virgilio Ambo David. Cardinal Ambo, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us today.
It's a pleasure, Carmina. Pasensya na. I know you have invited me many times before.
No.
Talaga.
Good things come to those who wait.
That's true.
I just waited and waited and waited.
Salamat for your patience.
Cardinal, has it hit you yet na Cardinal Ambo ka na?
Well, it doesn't make a difference to me, People still call me Ambo. I mean, my brothers and sisters, I'm still Ambo. To Kuya Randy, I'm still Ambo. Parang ganon. That keeps my feet flat on the ground. And for me, I'm still the Bishop of Caloocan, so I don't mind if they still call me Bishop Ambo.
May pagkakaiba ba?
Ano bang pagkakaiba? Ano lang, nabigyan lang ako ng additional responsibilities. I got connected to the Pope through a church in Rome. So, on October 19, I'm going to be installed in my titular church, or the titular church assigned to me by Pope Francis, the late Pope Francis, kasi every cardinal has to be connected to the Bishop of Rome. Correct. Symbolically.
Okay.
And then you are, usually given some tasks in Rome. At ako, ang trabaho ko dalawa na additional to help the Holy Father. Ang isa ay yung dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, which is headed by Cardinal Victor Fernandez. So now I'm working with him in that dicastery. I'm a member of that dicastery in Rome. The second thing is the International Synodal Council na binuo ni Pope Francis, to carry on with the implementation of the Synod on synodality. Well, ito yung parang the spirit of the reform of the Church in Second Vatican Council.
Okay.
And I am one of two delegates from Asia. And we have to go to Rome every now and then for that.
So, I was gonna say, so may kahati na naman po kami sa inyo?
No. Nasanay na ako sa ganyang klaseng buhay. I'm Bishop of Caloocan. That's already a full-time job. Tapos naging CBCP President ako ng 2 terms. Well, gladly, patapos na ang term ko. Nagkaroon na kami ng election and I'm going to be replaced by the 1st of December.
All right.
And then, but I got elected as Vice President of the Federation of Asian Bishops Conferences.
Exactly. So may kapalit bigla.
Meron.
And why does it come easy for you to just take on these responsibilities? Kasi, Cardinal, pwedeng humindi or hindi ba pwedeng humindi?
Pwede, pero parang, kasi mula nung nag-obispo ako, the moment I said yes, nilalagyan ko na ng cross ang pangalan ko. And I used to joke about that kasi kapag nilagyan ng cross ang pangalan, ibig sabihin, you're good as dead.
Oh.
Pag nagmimisa kami para sa patay, yung nakalistang pangalan ng mga patay may cross before their names. Kaya tinanong ko minsan yung papal nuncio, sabi, what is this practice of putting a cross before the name of a bishop when he becomes a bishop? Tapos sabi ko, in general, we only do that with the dead. And then, natawa siya, ang sabi niya, that's it. Sabi ko, what? What do you mean? Well, the moment you accepted this, you surrendered your life. You're good as dead. So my life is no longer mine. Parang ganon.
Yes.
Marami akong gustong gawin sa buhay ko. I would have, preferred to stay in the academe kasi yun ang background ko. Teacher ako talaga.
At saka happiness mo yun eh.
Oo naman, yes. Ngayon, I had to surrender that.
Happiness mo yung, pasensya na po, kasi baka hindi niyo po alam, pero bata pa po ako, kilala ko na po si Cardinal Ambo. At but I think I came to really know of you when you were home already from your studies.
That's
Kasi
right.
matagal ka ring nawala. At nakita ko talaga yung there was joy, not just in learning. Gusto niyo po yung nag-aaral kayo.
Yeah.
Pero pag binibigay niyo na po at isinasalin nyo sa iba, yung napag-aralan nyo.
Yes.
There's happiness there
Yes.
too.
Well, the greater happiness is in communicating what I am learning, especially to ordinary people. Kasi kapag nasa academe ka, kung minsan academic din ang language mo, masyadong theoretical, ganon. But you cannot communicate it to the poor. What difference does that make sa buhay ng isang labandera, isang manggagawa, isang magsasaka, ganon.
Correct.
But when I am able to communicate the message, parang there is really a deep joy in me. Parang yun yung feeling ko that is no longer my word. I call it the power of the word. Kasi ang pangalan ko Ambo, di ba? And I remember I had a spiritual director na American. Ang tawag niya sa akin, Ambo.
Ambo.
Tapos lagi ko siyang kinokorek. Sabi ko, no Tom, it's not Ambo, it's Ambo. Ang sabi niya, but the Ambo is beautiful. That is the stand from which the Word of God is proclaimed. Hindi ba sa simbahan yung lectern?
Oo.
That is the stand from which the Word of God is proclaimed, and it is called Ambo. So, sabi ko, from then on, di okay lang tawagin niyo akong Ambo.
So baka predestined.
Siguro, ano?
Baka yun na yun. That was a divine design of your life.
Siguro nga, parang ganon, no? Na, that I allow my words to be used by God. Parang ganon. And yun ang sense of fulfillment ko when I discover the power of the Word. The Word that can transform lives. The Word that can lead people to conversion. The Word that, can make people rethink their ways, ganon. Very powerful yung Word. That's why it should not be abused. And there is a tendency sa lahat ng pare, pag tumayo kami doon sa loob ng simbahan, to be so opinionated, na parang it's all about your ego.
Yeah.
No, you cannot be an effective proclaimer of the word if you're full of yourself. Kaya ang naging motto ko as a bishop was kenosis. That's a Greek word that means self-emptying.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
How do you empty yourself so that you're filled with nothing else but the Word?
It's a spiritual discipline.
That's the only thing that you can give.
Totoo. It's a spiritual discipline. Kasi it's a very normal thing for us to hold on to our ideas, our personal opinions, di ba? But kung minsan we don't realize na hindi na siya my identity, ba? May ego na siya. Minsan pag na-prick yung ego mo, you go berserk. Parang ganun ba, no? And that's not healthy.
Sa nangyayari sa kapaligiran natin ngayon, dito sa bansa natin, you cannot live also in a vacuum and empty yourself. Otherwise, paano ka makakakonect? There's news of massive corruption, this scandal that's facing us. But then I know that you're also there to bring about social change.
Yes.
But how do you reconcile both?
Yes, ang tinatawag kong self-emptying is really attentiveness. The capacity to listen not just to my own thoughts. Kasi when we're full of ourselves and full of our own ideas, we will tend to be less attentive We think we know everything already. Napaka-importante nung to be observant, to listen. Bakit ako pakikinggan kung ako mismo hindi ako marunong makinig? And yung pakikinig na yun has transformed me. Yung awareness of what people are going through. You know, I've made it a point mula nung gawin akong bishop, sabi ko, hindi ko hahayaan na lagyan ako ng cordon sanitaire na hindi na ako ma-reach ng mga tao. Because that way, I cannot be an effective pastor.
Empty yourself so that you're filled with the word of the Lord, but you're also filled with empathy for
That's it.
for those
Yes,
that you
yes.
lead.
Yes, I'm glad you're using that word empathy, no? Yung I think hindi possible yung empathy kung hindi, if you don't empty yourself. Parang you're there for other people and ready, capable of feeling what they feel, ganon, no? Yung sometimes we call it compassion. Yung to be affected but by what affects people. Sometimes you console the afflicted, but sometimes you have to afflict the comfortable. Ganon ba? Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Ito yung two prongs ng the Word of God. Hindi siya, it's not really about pietism or ganyan,
So
feeling
pwede
good.
rin pala kayong magalit.
Yes.
Hinahayaan nyo rin yung sarili nyong magalit kung yun ang nadadama nyo.
Yes, it is, parang I call it divine indignation, parang galit ng Diyos, parang ganon. At yung galit ng Diyos na yun, you sort of pick it up spiritually in prayer. When you listen to the signs of the times, when you reflect on what people are going through and allow it to get into your system.
Lamunin ka din, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Let it consume
It's not
you
always
too.
comfortable, I tell you, yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking to you now and you're not wearing your zucchetto. And you've had your black, you've had your purple, and now
It's
paano ba kung
yeah.
sa game nasa level red ka na, cardinal, 'di ba? Has it been a burden to you all these years, or has wearing that powerful symbol of the church and humility, has that become sort of lighter as the years go by?
Yeah, it's never been a burden. Mula nung na-ordain akong pare, nilagyan kami ng what they call a stole. You put it on your shoulders like that. Yung stole pala na yun is a symbol of a yoke. Para kang kalabaw. So, ito ay nilagay yan sa, on your shoulders, because it's a responsibility. But when people turn it into dignity, honor, yung ganon, and naliligaw na talaga kami. That's why Pope Francis, when he appointed me cardinal, he wrote a letter to me, and in that letter, the first few lines said, "Please don't ever get used to being called eminence."
Yeah.
It gets into your head.
Linagay ka kaagad sa pedestal.
That's right. Yeah, hindi ka na talaga ma-reach ng tao kapag, if you become very comfortable with titles. And for me, that's one of the most scandalous things about church leaders. Kapag nasanay na kami doon sa titles na ganyan, na mayroon pa nga obispo na hindi lang siya matawag na Your Excellency or Your Grace, parang na feeling insulted na sila or feeling offended na sila. Parang, for me, scandalous yun. Parang, I mean, if Jesus were here, he would probably say, that what you're doing has nothing to do with me. I'm sorry, I will disown you.
Why does it come so easy for you to speak your mind out, and even if it's against the church, or even if it's against your colleagues, bakit madali sa inyo na magpunto ng mali?
Kasi I was brought up that way. Alam mo ba, gardener ako. And I was the favorite assistant of my father in gardening. So, kaya nag-apprentice ako sa tatay ko as a gardener. And early in my life, I learned to establish empathy with my own plants. Nakikilala ko yung mga needs ng halaman. Wala naman palang green thumb dyan. It's really empathy. Yeah.
Ganon?
Yes.
Wala.
It's really empathy. It's like kung sensitive ka, alam mo that this plant is getting too much sun. It's burning under the heat of the afternoon sun. All you need to do is to shield it. Ganon ba? Later on, I discovered it's the same with
people.
you have to know where they're coming from. Why they are behaving the way they are behaving. Kasi, alam mo, napaka-optimistic ko about humanity, Carmina. No? Kahit alam ko na maraming taong kasuklam-suklam. No?
Kaya na nagsabi niyan, Cardinal, hindi ako.
Pero ako, I make it a point na never to resent whatever evil, people are capable of doing. Kasi I always presuppose that people are by nature good.
Yes.
Walang likas na masamang tao dito sa mundo.
Absolutely.
We are all, created, yung kalikasan natin ay maging mabuti, to be truthful, to be good, to be beautiful. We now distinguish between person and action. The person is essentially good, but action can be bad. Ganon, no? And that can be conditioned by environment, upbringing, experience of abuse, and all of this. And then pag nilagay mo pa sa authority yan, they can create structures of oppression, ganon. But they're not bad in themselves. Something went wrong with them.
Pasensya na po, Cardinal. Pero as you were talking, ang unang pumasok sa isip ko, yung lahat ng mga nagnakaw dun sa kung sino man ang nangangailangan.
Totoo.
It's hard to even think that they're actually good people. So how do you explain that to us?
Ako din parang hirap kong intindihin ito Pero nakinig ako sa isang, one of them. And I was surprised.
Wait, they sought your counsel?
Yes, some of them seek counsel from us. Kasi mga Katoliko din sila And at some point they get bothered by their conscience also, and they seek out, some counsels. And we will not turn down people who, in all honesty, are really seeking our spiritual and moral advice. Ganon, no? Kahit ano pang reputasyon nila.
So galing to sa Senado o sa Kongreso?
Well, either, both.
May lumapit na po sa
meron
inyo?
Meron na.
Ano pong sinabi nila?
And yun nga, parang nagulat ako na in some instances, some of them don't see anything wrong about the politics of patronage. Yung ganun ba? Yung kuminsan na-justify nila, ibibigay naman ito sa mahihirap o sa mga constituents nila. But of course, some of it land in their pockets. Ganon, no? There is something really systemic about our problem, Yung namayagpag talaga ang politics of patronage, no? And of course, political dynasties magkasama yan, magkarugtong yan, no? And they have to maintain their constituency, and for them to be able to do that, like in the legislature, hindi naman executive ang trabaho nila, legislative, di ba? Pero bakit sila pilit sumasausaw sa mga trabahong executive? Di ba? Trabahong DSWD, trabahong DPWH, yung ganon. Hindi nyo na trabaho yan. Parang ganon.
So, nung lumapit sila sa inyo, ano po ang sinabi nila? Bakit sila lumapit sa inyo? At anong hinihingi?
Moral and spiritual guidance. And I think that means may guilt on their part also. Parang, how can we take part in, parang, they can recognize na ang kailangan ng bansa ay moral recovery. And it's like, our country is sick. And I think we have to call a spade. Para tayong may cancer na talagang, ewan kung anong stage na yung social cancer natin. We have to be truthful, no? Aminin natin. Yun ang sabi ko na, in the Catholic Church, if you want a liberation of conscience, kasi yun ang nakikita ko dito sa mga nami-meet ko yung burden of conscience. Kasi nakikita na nila ngayon ang tindi ng reaksyon ng mga tao. Minumura sila. Napapanood nila sa social media. Yung pati nagbabasketball, yung biglang, so malakas na ang loob ng mga tao na magpahayag ng kanilang pagkasuklam dito sa sistema ng korupsyon na ngayon talagang nagiging malinaw na sa atin, kalakaran na pala siya, na halos wala nang matira sa infrastruktura. At mabuti kung meron pang substandard project na lumabas, ang masahol, ghost pa yung marami sa kanila. And that is really plain pagnanakaw. So, napakawalang konsensya mo na lang para ipangalandakan mo pa yan at ipagmalaki sa bayan ang yaman mo. Parang gano'n. Magkano ba talagang sweldo ng isang legislator? Gano'n, no? Well, now many of them are waking up. And that's good. Nasasaktan na sila. That means buhay yung conscience nila. Hindi pa yan patay. Buhay pa yan. Pwede pa yang magbago. Kasi na-affected sila. So, nasasabi ko, in the Sacrament of Reconciliation in the Catholic Church, kailangan yung 3 prerequisites. Confession, contrition, penance. In plain language, confession is inaamin ko. What are you willing to admit publicly as your shortcomings? Ano ba ang kailangang aminin? What we have done and what we have failed to do. We classify sins as commission and omission.
Yes.
Hindi tayo magkakaroon ng liberation of conscience kung hindi kayo ready to admit what your contribution was in these social ills. Ang pangalawa, contrition. Hindi sapat yung aminin. Pagsisihan. Show naman some contrition.
Paano?
You know,
Paano kaya nila yun ipapakita?
Well, yun na nga, yung third part, makikita yan. The act of reparation. Yung penance. And penance can be restitution. Isoli mo ang hindi iyo. Conversion is possible. Pero it's usually more possible kapag hindi judgmental ang dating natin kagad. We have to know what led them to do what they did. Where they're coming from. Ganon. Sometimes even with the best of intentions, people are wrong. But they think the intention justifies it. Parang, di ba, lagi na sinasabi, the end does not justify the means.
Pero yung sa galit ng tao ngayon, Cardinal, sabi mo nga kanina damang-dama mo di ba?
Yeah.
Is it enough na isauli lang nila yung ninakaw nila?
Managot sila. Yeah. Because napaka-importante rin na umandar ang ating democratic system, no? Hindi pwede na ganun na lang yon. So, you hold people accountable.
So, nung kausap nyo yung, I'm assuming it's more than one na lumapit sa inyo. I'm also assuming it's from both houses of Congress na may mga, di ko mambibig ni Cardinal na lumapit sa inyo. Nung sinabi nyo po yun, handa ba sila na harapin?
Yes.
Magpapakulong sila?
They didn't go to that extent. Nung sabihin ko lang yung what are you willing to admit? Hanggang saan? Ganon, no? Siyempre, tahimik sila. And then, meron tipong nagsabi na, I know the legal implications of that. Am I ready to face those legal implications? Parang ganon, no? It's an offer. At least they know. They are aware of it. Ganon, no? You leave that to them.
Yeah.
I cannot impose it on them.
Out of everyone who has approached you, naniniwala ho ba kayo sa lahat sa kanila? Or I know you're not called to judge,
Yeah.
Pero parang meron bang ito naniniwala ako dito. Ito medyo hindi.
Yeah. Alam mo, tinuruan kami to be innocent as doves but clever as serpents. No? Ganyan si Jesus I mean, we're not naive. Parang, spirituality comes with a gift of discernment. Alam mo rin kilatisin yung totoo at hindi totoo. Yung ganun, no? And syempre, when there is sincerity, masisense mo rin. Pag may insincerity, somehow, you have a feel of that also na hindi ako magsasayang ng oras dito na bubulahin lang ako tapos gagamitin pa ako. Baka kumuha pa ito ng picture tapos i-post niya na friend, body ko si Cardinal. Yung ganun ba na we're not born yesterday. Yung ganun. But in general, I still see a lot of goodwill on people. They just don't know what to do about it.
When you speak, Cardinal, everyone listens. You're very eloquent. You communicate. You don't just talk to us, but you communicate with us. When you were praying as a young kid and you found solace in talking to God, ano yung sinasabi mo as a young boy to God?
Well, kasi it started really very early because I remember I was just 4 years old when our catechist said, if you want to know if Jesus is inside the church present, check if the vigil lamp is burning. yung palang vigil lamp na yon. Kaya nagulat ako, sabi ko, lagi palang nakasindi yon. Ganon, no? 24/7. Papatayin lahat ng ilaw sa simbahan, but
Except
never
that.
the vigil lamp. We call it the perpetual light. Ganon, no? The perpetual fire. Symbolic siya.
Yeah.
Para bang God's love is represented by fire. Kaya nalulungkot ako kapag ina-associate yung fire with hell eh. Parang ang concept mo, punishment. No, no, no. Fire is a very positive image in the scriptures, no? It's para bang, why do people come to church? Kasi they're looking for light. So fire is light. They're looking for warmth.
4 years old, sinabi, tingnan mo.
Yes.
That's proof that he's there.
Yes.
And nakita mo.
Well, ganon. I got excited when I learned that. So, inaraw-araw ko ang pagdalaw sa Blessed Sacrament.
At
So,
4 years old.
yes. From home to school, church daan ko. From school back home, daan ako sa church. Just to check if the vigil lamp was burning. And pag nakita ko siya na nakasindi, may yung, oh, andyan si Jesus. Hello po. Parang ganun lang.
Ganun muna. Hello po.
Hello po.
So from hello po
Hello po. Yeah.
to now.
So now, ngayon, ano na siya? Malawak na siya. I call it coffee with Jesus. So, my common routine now is I wake up very early in the morning, make myself a cup of coffee, but I drink that coffee with Jesus. I bring my coffee to the chapel, and in my chapel, wala akong luhuran. Hindi ako lumuluhod kasi masakit ang tuhod ko.
So paano?
That's why I don't want to impose yung kneeling to other people because I find it hard myself. I'm more comfortable praying na sitting before a coffee table.
These days though, how are those conversations going?
Oh my goodness. Very fruitful conversations. Kasi parang ang biro ko kay Jesus ganito eh. Sabi niya, Lord, pag tumayo ako doon sa loob ng simbahan, hindi man ako ang gusto nilang marinig, kundi ikaw eh. Because how can I tell them what you want if you don't tell me? So, please, you know, I would like, to communicate inspiring words that can build the lives of people, edify them, words that are good news, yung magpapalakas ng loob, lalong-lalo na sa mga pinanghihinaan ng loob.
Take us back to Caloocan after the first death, the second death, the third death, and the many more that came after during the drug war.
Yeah, those were the most difficult years, no? Pero how did I know na ang simula ng pagiging obispo ko sa Caloocan ay yung bagong administrasyon? Actually, nag-pastoral planning na kami before that because we knew there was going to be an election in May of 2016, no? Ni-review ko na kagad yung pastoral priorities of the diocese, ganun. Nagbago lahat nung nagbago yung administrasyon. We were not able to preempt the killings. And my God, the killings were done in cold blood. And it was really so bad that hindi ako makatulog. Kasi I entered into a deal with the night crawlers, no?
Yeah.
Sabi ko, I'm willing to serve you coffee, ganon, please. Kasi napufrustrate ako kapag may pinat sila sa isang parokya, titext ko yung pare, sasabihin niya, o nga ho, napanood ko sa news. Parang, wait a minute, is a member of your community, hindi nyo alam, baka ho hindi katoliko, hindi naman lumapit. Hindi naman po kasi nagpa-bless eh. Wait a minute, sabi ko, hinihintay niyong lumapit sila. But why don't you reach out to them? Ganun. And I realized, medyo overburdened din ang mga pari ko. Because too many people already are seeking their spiritual services in their parishes. Wala na silang time to go out. Ganon, no? Kaya I needed allies. At nakilala ko itong mga grupo ng mga, media people who were already freelancers, no? Itong mga journalists na may konsensya, kahit hindi sila bayaran, oh my God, on their own, they were documenting methodically. And sabi ko, okay, partner tayo. Because I believe in what you are doing. So, you have my support. So, please, ito yung cellphone number ko, diretso na sa akin. And anytime you document something, tell me immediately. Kaya, gabi-gabi, nagbibip ang cellphone ko Kasi hinihintay ko talaga yung news nila, ganon. Between 12 midnight and 3 a.m., I would look at faces of dead bodies almost every day. Sometimes in one day, minsan 20 people in one day. Ganyan. It was really so bad. Tapos nung una, alam mo naman, direct direct police operations, ang tawag nila mga drug operations, no? Tapos pag may namatay, de-declare nila nanlaban. Ganon, no? Nung una, tanggap ko pa, siguro nga nanlaban. Parang ganon, no? Parang ganon yung ko, no? But before we knew it, people were coming to us.
Saying,
witnesses.
It's not true. Saying it's
kanino
not true.
lalapit yung mga burdened souls, you know? Mangungumpisal yan. And sasabihin nilang, nabasa ko po na nanlaban daw yung kapitbahay namin, nakasilip po ako, nakita ko sa sariling mata ko. Nagmamakaawa siya, binaril siya, pinatay po siya, walang awa. Pero pag sinabi mong, ano kaya, mag-testify ka, that's the end of it. Takot sila, syempre. Alam mo, yun lang, walang takot na nakita ko, mga bata. Yung witnesses kay Kian de los Santos, ang pumipigil pa yung parents. Wala pang sense of danger kasi yung bata kaya we provided sanctuary for them. And we got into trouble also for provided sanctuary to them. Ganon. Binalaan kami. We started, I started receiving death threats and I had to face 5 criminal charges. No.
Recently, Cardinal, the news is that the former president, who's now being detained by the ICC in The Hague, his request for interim release, that's been rejected. How does that make you feel?
Parati natin sinasabi, managot ang dapat managot. Kasi siya talaga yung pinaka-enabler nitong mga killings na to. Alangan nang sabi mo, nagbibiro lang ako. Pero nahuhuli ang isda sa sariling bibig, hindi ba? I mean, almost every day, you hear him saying that. Kill them. Kill them. Yung ganun ba? Siyempre, parang lumalakas ang loob ng kapulisan mo. And it criminalized our own police institution. And I felt so sorry for them because ang dami kong kaibigan na mga pulis kakilala, alam kong they're good Catholics, they're Christians, they're moral people, pero they're caught in a system na parang you're not a good policeman if you don't, sabi ni boss, yung ganun ba? Yun ang pinakamalaking pananagutan niya. He enabled the whole system of killing at napakaraming biktima. And I pleaded, really, during those times, I said, naintindihan ko ho na trabaho ng gobyerno ang to fight criminality. Huwag patayin yung users kasi victims yan. Yung mga pinapatay, mga users. Sabi ko, we can rehabilitate them. In the first place, nothing in the law says pwede mo patayin na lang basta yung tao. Kaya tinawag ko yung giyera niya sa droga as not only immoral, but illegal and anti-poor. So, nagalit siya sa akin during that time. No? Kaya binalaan talaga ako. But, I don't know, of course, galit sila dahil we were criticizing the way they were conducting their war against illegal drugs.
So, tama lang ho ba sa pananaw nyo na ni-reject itong request niya for interim release?
Yun ay desisyon ng ICC and kasi kailangan humarap. Actually, hindi lang siya, maraming kailangan humarap at managot.
Kanina po, napag-usapan natin bahagya kung ano man nangyayari ngayon sa ating bansa. May mga nagsasabi na kahit yung investigation ng ICI, if they are not going to be transparent, then it really will not hold any water. Ang gusto ng tao ngayon, transparency. Merong mga nagmumungkahi. Baka panahon magkaroon ng citizens investigation. Yun ang tinatawag. Do you subscribe to that?
Well, actually, nakikipag-partner kami with ICI. We had a meeting of bishops with representatives from the ICI for what can we do for ground validation of mga DPWH projects. Kasi may network ang simbahan sa buong Pilipinas, di ba? So, bawat diocese may social action center. And yung social action center, we can, mobilize them to help in what we call citizens participatory audit.
Okay, so it's not a separate investigation.
No,
it's
no.
it supplements.
Supplement, parang ganon, yeah.
Okay.
So, kasi andyan na yan eh. So, may, actually, I didn't even know na meron palang ganon, citizens participatory audit. And you can do it online. Kaso, parang hindi siya lahat ng control systems nawala. That is what enabled, such high levels of corruption, no? Yung systems of checks and balances, para ba tayong isang makinang nag-malfunction ang buong gobyerno natin? Pinagpaguran natin ang democratic system natin na to, di ba? Ni-restore ito noong 1986, di ba? And through people power, na-dismantle ang dictatorship. Anak pa naman ng former dictator ang present president. And yet, ironically, ang presidente ngayon ay sumumpa sa konstitusyon that dismantled the dictatorship of his father. And he has to be faithful to the 1987 Constitution. You see, biro ng tadhana yan. At ang biro ng tadhana, ngayon he has to be anti-corruption. Di ba? Biro ng tadhana yan.
Cardinal, as we wrap up this conversation, I want to learn more about the kind of prayers that you utter these days. What do you pray for country and her people as you have that coffee with Jesus every single day?
Oh. Yeah, well, kasi we are in a state of uncertainty talaga. We don't know what's happening. Ako lagi Lord, reveal to us, the direction that this country is taking. And nakakabahala, especially because ang daming kalamidad na nangyayari one after the other, di ba? I mean, tinatamaan ka na ng sunod-sunod na bagyo, tapos mayroon pang volcanic eruption, tapos mayroon pang earthquakes, no? Parang nakakayugyug talaga. And it's like you cry out to heaven and say, Lord, the poor do not deserve more suffering because they're really the victims of this, no? I mean, yung mga disaster na mga ito, hindi naman yung rich yung magsasuffer dyan, because they're comfortable, mga stable yung mga bahay nila, mga structures nila. But the poor, parang, they're so dispensable in this kind of an unequal society, di ba? And yun, parang ang prayer ko is that this crisis will lead to new opportunities for the country. That it will lead us to a reset, a moral reset above all. And ako feel in all humility, I'm not just out to point an accusing finger on anyone. We share in the blame. We are all in one way or another enablers of this corrupt system. So if we're part of the problem, we should be part of the solution as well. And yun yung parating dinadasal ko, Lord, reveal to us the new opportunities. You're closing certain doors, but you're certainly opening new windows. Ganon. Give us the wisdom to identify those new opportunities that will lead to a moral reset of our country. Kasi hindi ako proud na predominantly Christian and predominantly Catholic ang Pilipinas. Well, bukang bibig nila na majority of our people are Christians, Catholics. Ako nasasaktan ako doon kasi ba't tayo nagkaganyan?
Yeah. So predominantly, ba't ganito?
That's right, yeah.
Pasensya na po, Cardinal, pero parang nung sinabi niyo na di ka proud, predominantly Catholic,
tapos napaka-corrupt ng bansa.
Tapos ganito, baka sabihin ng iba, baka nga, baka kaya nagkaganyan.
Yeah, kasi may pagkukulang talaga kami. I mean, hindi ako magmamalinis. Parang ganon. Parang we share in the blame. Trabaho namin ito . Kasi naging masyado kaming komportable. That's just to talk to our captive audiences. Alam mo ba, Carmina, na kung 100%, sa 100%, 87% are more or less Catholic or Christian. Gano'n, no? 90% Christian, tapos mga 87% Catholic, na ganyan. Only around 10 to 20% of those are church-going. Majority of them are not really in close contact with the church. And we tend to be satisfied with the few who come to us. Most of our churches are on maintenance mode. Mababa the missionary dimension, playing our role to make an impact in society. So what if there is a parish there? Anong impact mo sa community? Kung wala, baka masyadong self-serving yung ating gawain. And Pope Francis made us more conscious of that. Correct. Ang tawag niya self-referential. Parang ganun ba?
Yes.
Parang you invite people to church ministries to serve the church. I no longer believe in that. But what I prefer to invite people for is to serve society as part of the church. Let's make an impact in society. So, nagpa-pastoral planning tayo, tapos mag-i-evaluation tayo kung na-implement ba. Pero, what for? Anong impact niyan? Did we make any difference at all? Kung naiibsan na ang korupsyon sa lipunan, ibig sabihin morally and spiritually, nagtatagumpay tayo. Kung malayo pa tayo doon, umamin tayo na hindi tayo nagtatagumpay. And there is more work to do.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you've had your coffee with Jesus already, but thanks for spending time with us this afternoon and having a fruitful conversation as well. Cardinal Ambo David joining us today. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din, Carmina. It's a great pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. And that's it for another episode of KC After Hours. You know the drill. Like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.